The awakening of consciousness begins with awareness of our unconscious behavior, of the unawakened part of ourself, of our survival reactivity. And sometimes it can just be by realizing that you're not the voice in your head, by removing that identification with that constant running script in the head that sounds just like you, goes around and around. Most people can't even turn it off. By disidentifying with that voice and understanding that you're the observer. You're actually like a presence or a witnessing presence that can observe that stream of consciousness. So we're under a lot of pressure now to awaken. We need more and more people are certainly starting to expand their consciousness over the last few years, especially. You know, I couldn't even talk to anyone about this stuff back in 2007 until I met my mentor, John, who was a spiritual teacher and a Kundalini master. But we've definitely seen an awakening, but not quite a critical mass yet. As we awaken from the dream or the illusion that we've spun around that sense of self, and all the dysfunction that comes out of that, believing that you're a separate fragment in a hostile universe. Nothing could be further from the truth. The word cosmos means order. There's rhythm. There's coherence. Like even the intelligence that's keeping you alive, the intelligence that's beating your heart, growing your fingernails, it's turned over more than 25 trillion brand new cells since the time you've been watching this video. This intelligence in the body that heals the body, We have come to a point in human history where the expansion of consciousness is crucial, because we're so out of balance with Mother Nature, with each other. The idea that people out there have done us wrong, and the way to fix that is to harm them or go to war, violence. It's just our own unconsciousness projected outward. That's all it is. When you die, it is the death of this identification with that little voice in your head and the little me. So when each one of us faces physical death, what happens is, this disidentification with the ego takes place. And in that instant, you will realize the folly of all the supposed enemies and drama and things that you thought mattered. As death approaches, you realize none of it was of any consequence at all. And you return to source consciousness. You simply become pure, infinite, eternal consciousness. Again, you return to where you came from. So, in my workshops, what I've done with Limitless Initiatives is I've spent, over 10 years researching the mind-body connection and physics, quantum physics specifically, and genetic expression and how the body heals, the interplay of emotion and thought and beliefs on our immune function and on our genetic expression. And I wanted to put together everything I'd learnt in one place and start teaching what I know. This is a hell of a journey. I turned off the television in January 2010, and every single second that I normally would have spent watching the television has been poured into research. So I formed Limitless Initiatives on the basis that matter, physicality, particles, the cells in your body only exist because energy is giving life to it. Energy is creating it. So in quantum physics, this is the unified field of information. And it's giving life to all of us. And it's limitless. It is a limitless source of potential that's bringing everything here into form. You can't even exist without it bringing you into life. And its power is limitless. You could call it the universe, or you could call it God. You could use other names, or the unified field. But it is limitless. And when we tap into that consciousness, we unlock the true potential that we all have inside ourselves. We move out of that survival reactive state, and we change the world en masse for the better. Because in the unenlightened state, we honestly believe that these people out here are enemies, when both the greatest spiritual teachers in history and the most cutting edge physics, and Einstein as well, all are in agreement that there is only one life, one consciousness, one mind, and one field. You are part of the exact same field of intelligence that's beating my heart and bringing me into life. Is beating your heart and bringing you into life. So, as I said before, we're under immense, there's urgency. There's a growing urgency because of this gap between the people who have awakened and the people who haven't. And if none of what I've said in this video has made sense to you, then the consciousness hasn't begun to awaken yet. It's something that I couldn't have explained to myself or been able to believe before my car accident. It was just, I couldn't fathom it, because I was so identified with this belief that I was a separate person in a separate universe, and the running commentary in the head. It's a source of so much suffering and disease. So look, if it would be great to see you at a workshop. If this has sparked your interest, then come along to one of these workshops. There's like an introductory that I do that is just to bring people in, get some basic understanding of the brain and meditation, and the interplay of meditation and stress as well on your immune system. We do some breath work, and then from there we just move on to advanced workshops and healing, understanding the mind-body connection and epigenetics, so that you have this information. This is like knowledge of self is self-empowerment, and it takes the fear out of medicine. It takes the fear out of our bodies, because we've split society up to this point where there's so many different facets of science, and only the really smart people can understand biochemistry, so I'm just a dummy, and this is what we assume, and we leave it to the experts. But that paradigm has failed us. The medical model, just like the political model and the education system, they are now antiquated beyond belief. All the textbooks needed to be thrown in the bin pretty much after the discovery of quantum physics, and we're still teaching old dogmatic views through biology and many different parts of science that are just outdated, not even relevant anymore. So I'm super passionate about teaching and sharing this information with you, because I've lived it. I've personally healed myself from critical head injuries and a shattered back, broken spine in 6 places, and a week in a coma with 44 bits of metal in my face after bilateral skull fractures, and I could go on forever. But I was able to heal, and then I got obsessed with understanding how that took place when no doctor healed me. So what did the healing? So the more you know, the more empowered you are, and this is making good on a responsibility that I have inside myself to share this information. I tried to forget about this, and I can't function without doing this. This is my purpose, my soul's purpose for being here. And I promised my mum when I was in intensive care that I would do this. So I've got to make good on that promise as well. So look, if there's anything I can do to help you, reach out through damienhorton.com. Information about the workshops is at damienhorton.com/workshops. You want to read my book and understand what where I came from and what I've healed by myself, just shoot me a message. I'll send you a free copy of my audiobook or my ebook. So that's it, guys. Wherever you are in the world, sending you light, sending you love, and yeah, hope to hear from you soon. Peace.